Dharavi is a suburb of Mumbai and is said to be the largest slum in Asia. It's situated just north of the central business district of Mumbai, and with the rapid growth of the Indian economy, the land is becoming increasingly more valuable and there is real pressure to redevelop the site. Dharavi covers an area of approximately 2.1 square kilometres or 0.8 square miles and is sandwiched between two of Mumbai's suburban railway lines, the Central and Western Railways. The easiest way to visit Dharavi is by railway. Let's take a journey there now and find out a bit more about what makes this place and its people tick. Estimates of the population in Dharavi vary between 600,000 and 1 million people, making it one of the most densely populated places on earth. The railway line is not only a noisy neighbour for the people of Dharavi, it's also their lifeline. Many residents work in Greater Mumbai and these commuter trains are critical to Dharavi's economy. You can see how close to the edge of the railway people's homes are, and living with the railway is part of daily life here, including family wash time, which sometimes has its own hazards. Dharavi is often called a slum, which makes people think of deprivation and lack of wealth. Surprisingly, this is not the case, as I saw when visiting both commercial and residential areas. Its annual economic output is estimated to be between $600 million and $1 billion. Two of the most prominent industries are textiles and pottery. Here you can watch a Dharavi resident making oil lamps for this year's Diwali festival. These lamps will be exported all over India. I also saw evidence of food production. Here you can see chilies being pounded for sale in the local markets and in the wider Mumbai area. Biggest industry is a rapidly developing recycling industry, which, it's said, recycles 80% of all the plastic from all over Mumbai. Compare this to 23% of the plastic it's said is recycled in London. Here you can see the tough working conditions as workers break up unwanted toys and sort the different materials. Whilst it looks tough, these workers are migrant workers from the southern states in India. They work here and send much needed money back to their family in their home villages. This redistribution of money helping the development of rural communities as well as here in Dharavi. Any plastic material from either domestic or commercial origin is bought here and sorted into different types before onward processing. Some of the next stage of processing is completed in Dharavi. Here you can see an industrial crushing machine, in this case reducing television housing to small chips that are then sent on to factories for use in new plastic products. The different types of materials brought here for recycling was impressive, from old car bumpers, cardboard and stacks of old wiring. Here you can see the lack of health and safety protection as this worker strips old wires with his bare hands and feet. I also saw redundant materials being used to make new products. This upcycling also contributing to the local economy. Here you can see old plywood sheets being turned into small shrines for this year's Diwali festival. These will be resold all over Mumbai. Old oil cans are brought here as well for refurbishment, reshaping and resealing before being sent back to industry for use all over again. There is also a sub-economy of businesses providing services to other businesses. Here's a unit sharpening blades for the plastic crushing machines we saw earlier. I also saw local residents providing services to other residents. This circular economy creating wealth for their families in the district. Dharavi is not your regular slum. I found its residents to be incredibly proud people with a real sense of optimism about the future. Many are second generation residents whose parents moved in years ago. Muslims, Hindus, Buddhists and Christians live together in great harmony. For example, the worker we saw earlier making Diwali shrines was a Muslim. Mosques, temples and churches are all evident, sometimes on opposite sides of the same street. Residents live together in a mixture of cobbled-together shacks packed together in narrow walkways to newer high-rise blocks built to accommodate the increasing numbers of workers coming here to find work. The main street is just like any other town or suburb, with street sellers, noisy traffic, delivery vehicles and taxis. Locals are serviced by some abundant street markets selling all types of food. Fruit and vegetables are brought here from the massive out-of-town wholesale markets, and the quality equaling anything you can buy in the UK. As is the way in Dharavi, each one of these stallholders is an independent businessman, creating wealth and prosperity for his family. With temperatures hitting 35 degrees when I visited, it wasn't a surprise to see an ice cream van touring the streets. What it did tell me, however, was that there was money in people's pockets for a cool, sweet treat. I saw livestock living side by side with humans in the narrow streets, providing fresh food and milk. We even saw a goat, involved in recycling, I think. It was eating the posters from this pillar, which were held up with tasty rice glue. Other enterprises were thriving in the slum, from hotels, second-hand white goods shops, and even new scooter dealerships, and fee-paying private schools. My new friend Rahul was so proud of the 5-star TripAdvisor rating he'd received for his travel and tour business he set up himself. There is a full power supply to the district, and whilst the wiring looks a little like a plate of spaghetti, it was all organised with each property officially metered. One thing that's not so great is sanitation, and Dharavi has problems with public health. The open sewers in the city drain into the main creek, and also due to its location and poor sewage and drainage systems, Dharavi is particularly vulnerable to floods in the wet season, also known as the monsoon season. Drains like this back up, flooding the streets with effluent. It is thought that life expectancy in the slum is 60, compared to 67 for the whole of India, and between 80 and 84 in the UK. Street food has a role to play in feeding the population, but poor food hygiene standards tends to attract other uninvited guests. The kilns of the pottery industry are located in the middle of residential areas, causing lung and respiratory diseases, as well as high risk of fire. Migrant workers sleep in the places they work, and some of these workplaces are full of toxic materials, again causing health problems. Despite all the hardships, the hard work and risks of disease, I found the people of Dharavi to be happy people, hugely proud of where they live. Children playing the national sport of cricket in the streets. Family groups stick together with 3 generations living under one roof. And whilst Dharavi is called a slum, I found it to be much better than that word suggests. A thriving and vibrant community and a valuable economy.